The modern farmer runs a tight operation and is pretty tech savvy. In fact, most of them have college or university degrees, and pretty well all of them can navigate the internet highway without taking out a road map or pulling over and asking for directions. But what would happen if we took a farmer from, say, the 1950s or 1960s and brought him into the 21st century? What would it be like for him? I mean, the technology that he would have had back then would have been a television, telephone, radio. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring one of that fine old stock forward into the 21st century. And where we are now is he's had a bit of a run-in with a customer service representative. The situation has been escalated to a supervisor, and what we're going to hear now is the conversation between that supervisor and our farmer from the past. Yep, I'm here. Yeah. But I don't seem to have a phone. Oh, no problem. I have two. Oh. Why don't you take one? Thank you. Very kindly of you. Thank you very much. But it doesn't have a wire. Where am I supposed to plug talk it into it. It's wireless. I know it's wireless. I just said that. Where am I supposed to plug it in? I mean, it works like a radio. Well, glory be. Hello, can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you just fine. Why don't we just talk normally? Easy little thing. Shall we begin? Alfred, my name is Greg. I understand that you had some problems with our customer service representative. I'm here to help you. Could you please state your case? Case? I don't have a case. I have a John Deere I bought from Roger down the line. I got a cockshot the local dealer sold me. Good used one. Not too much money either. But I don't have any case. They run too much money. I'm sorry. In your own words, could you tell me what happened when you called our service department? Oh, you mean what happened when I spoke on the phone to your impertinent young fella? Well, it all started when my grandson, Pike, that's his name, you know, he wanted to help me with my farming. You see, weather ain't like it used to be. 'Twas a time I could count on seeding end of May and harvesting in late September into October. But now you just can't tell with the weather. I'm sorry, sir, but what does this have to do with your computer problem? Now, don't get your suspenders in a knot. I'm getting there. Now, Pike, he's a smart boy. He tells me, Pappy, what you need for you to get your crops in on schedule is a tablet. I says to him, ain't modern science great? But how do you get them little seeds to eat them tablets? Do you have to mix them with water? He says, not that kind of tablet, Pappy. This is one you read. It will tell you what the weather will be. I says, well, glory be. But how do you get that from a little pill? Allst I've ever seen writ on pills is Carter's. You mean written? What's that? Nothing. Carry on. Well, so he comes over to my place and he shows me this thing that looks like a squishy TV, all flat with moving pictures on the front. Then he starts to teaching me about how to get this thing to tell me what the weather will be for the next week or so. I declare, that thing is right intelligent. And handy too. I can put it in my overalls and bring it with me anywhere. And when I want to know the weather, I just turns it on, tickle its face a little on a picture of some sun and clouds. You mean you tap the weather icon? Them's your words. I thought you wanted me to tell this in my own words. Sorry. Please carry on. Well, anyways, I just poke them little clouds and it shows me what the weather will be. And do you know what? Half the time it's right, too. Yep, that boy Pike, he teached me a heap. You mean he taught you a lot?
Now, there you go again.
I apologize.
All right.
Let's carry on.
Well, we gets to harvesting, and we brings in a huge haul this year, more than I've ever got before. So I need new buyers, 'cause the ones I got can't take all I brung in.
You mean, I'm sorry. Carry on.
So Pike, he says, I need to go online. So I says to him, on which line? We've run this farm on Baker's line for generations. Are we supposed to move all these acres to another line? I wouldn't mind farming on Thetford line. There's a cute little filly lives down that line. Anyway, he tells me, no, Pappy, not that kind of line. I'll come over. So he'd been to your store and all, and he comes with some fancy boxes and a kind of quiet fella from your company. While my grandson unpacks the boxes, this fella runs a wire to my house. Well, I tell him, I already got a telephone wire. I don't need another. He didn't say nothing and just kept on running his wire. Pike said to leave him be, so I did. By this time, Pike had got all them boxes unpacked. Wouldn't you know it, there's another fancy squishy TV with a typewriter keyboard in front of it, but no typewriter. And they's both wired into some little box with flashing lights on it.
Apple?
No, we don't run any orchards here, just oats and barley. There's a peach tree next to the house, though.
No, I mean apple as in Mac.
They're making raincoats out of apple skins? Well, the modern science can do just about anything.
Except make sense of this call. Listen, I'm trying to find out what operating system you have.
Well, this year we put barley in the north 200 acres, and oats went into our south 100. But next year we plan to put in some alfalfa. Helps replenish the soil, you know. But I don't see what that's got to do with your fella on the phone.
I meant the computer. Is it a Windows computer?
Well, Pike never said anything about that. Does it like to look out the window? I can move it. Maybe that's what the problem is.
Never mind. I'll look up the invoice. Please, could you get to the part where you spoke to our customer service representative?
Now, don't get all huffy. 'Twas you who started talking about farming and all, and so I just talked about that. Well, now, anyway, Pike, he spends about half a day showing me how to look for new buyers for my crops. He makes what he calls a web page for me. Well, I looked up and down that squishy TV and couldn't find a single spider. Nor married one for either, for that matter. A little joke there. Anyway, we keep a clean house, you know.
Yes.
So no spiders here. Anyway, I asked him, is it to catch bugs? And he says that this box has no bugs. Well, I'm not surprised. If it has webs in it, they should all be caught up. Besides, we keep a clean house, you know.
Yes, you said that.
Any road, Pike says that this web page doesn't catch bugs. So I ask him, what does it catch? He tells me it will catch me a buyer. Well, if he can make a web from this that's so strong it'll catch me a buyer or two, who am I to tell him what to do? After a little while yet, your quiet fella, well, he connects a wire or two to the box with the one with the lights on it. And he shows me the web, Pike that is, he shows me this web page. Why, it was all writing and pictures. There wasn't any spider web anywhere on it. But he told me that this would catch me a buyer. Then he says that I should log on tomorrow night to see if I caught any buyers. I asked him, where do you put the logs? If you don't It don't have any grate on it, just that keyboard without a typewriter. He explains to me that log on is computer talk. That means you need to turn it on. He shows me what buttons to push, and we did that once or twice to be sure that I understood, and then he left.
Did he leave you an IP address?
Well, IP, I don't think I need to go anywhere for that. We got indoor plumbing here. But a funny thing, now that you mention it, your young fella asked me about our privy too. He asked me if I flushed my cash. I told him that would be silly. Just pee and the solids, that's all we put down there. We put the toilet paper in a special trash bin so that it don't plug up the septic tank. But we keep our cash in the pickle jar.
I meant, never mind what I meant. Please tell me, why did you call our CSR, I mean our young fella?
Well, I did like Pike said. The next night, when I finished cleaning up from the evening chores, I come and sit in front of the keyboard without a typewriter, and I push all the buttons that Pike showed me, and nothing happened.
You mean it wouldn't boot?
Your young fella asked me that too. I told him that if and it needed to be shod, you should have done that before you sold it to us. Anyway, I couldn't figure out how to do it. There's only 3 little supports under the squishy TV, and they look too small to put boots on them.
Okay, well, was there anything else our young fella asked?
Well, he had me push all the same buttons again that Pike showed me. And I did. Nothing happened. Those little lights never came on. So he asked me what I could see on the screen. I looks over my shoulder and tells him that there's only a few mosquitoes buzzing around it. He asked me to look straight in front of me and tell him what I sees. I tell him nothing. Everything is black. Then he asks me if the things was plugged in. I told him I couldn't tell. He asked me why not. I tells him because I can't see the plug. It's too dark. He asked me why I don't turn on any lights. I tells him I did turn on the lights, but they wouldn't come on until the power company finished working on some of the wires down the line.
I see. And what did our young fella say to you then?
Well, that's where he became right uppity. He asked me if I still had all of them fancy boxes. I told him that my grandson piled them up nice and neat in the closet. We keep a clean house, you know.
Yes, you mentioned.
Then he tells me that I should have my grandson come back and pack up the stuff and send it back. I says, if I do you think you can find the problem? He says, real snarky like, he already found the problem. I says, well then, why can't you just fix it now? He says, because the problem is that I'm too dumb to have a computer. You think I'm too dumb? Well, mister, you talk about webs where there's no spiders. You want to put boots on things that don't have feet. You want to put logs where there's no grate. You want me to flush my hard-earned cash down the privy, and you tell me I'm dumb?
Hi. If you enjoyed what you saw in that video, then please click the subscribe button over here. Yeah, that one. Click the subscribe button, please. And whenever I put a video up, you will find out about it. Please.